Hello producers, it's Özgün here. In this tutorial, I'm gonna show you my new master chain. It's really easy if you understand the logic of the plugins that I'm using. You can apply this to any genre, and if you're ready, let's get into the tutorial. Okay, I'm gonna show my master chain in this track. I was experimenting on some bass house stuff and I created this groove. First, I can show you that. Okay guys, so you know what is mastering. It's like we have to master our tracks to get some decent industry standard in terms of dynamic range, in terms of loudness, and you have to master it properly. Your track's mastering is that important, so when you listen to the track on a phone speaker or just really fancy big speaker or television speaker, they should sound averagely same. That's why you have to be careful on the monocompatibility. It's hard to say that word. And you have to be careful on the highs, on the bass, on the overall balances of the track. That's why mastering is really important. I always start my mastering with just an equalizer, and I just dip my mix down like 6 decibels or something, but you can always do that with just adding effort to balance and dip 6 decibels. It's an optional thing, so why I'm reducing my volume? Because I usually mix like really high volumes. It's all about you. As you can see, my average volume hitting 0, sometimes more than 0. And for mastering, our purpose to just put our track averagely stays in the 0 area. So it cannot more than 0. And to make mastering, you need some space between 0 and at some point, so you can boost your track till 0. If you don't have that space, you have to lower your mix down volume a bit. And in the electronical music, in the digital music, it's easy. You can just put something on the master channel and reduce it. So my mix down was averagely on 0 dB, but now I made it -6, so I have headrooms to make my mastering magic. Now I'm hitting -6 at the top, and I have enough headroom to make mastering, and which is really nice thing. So this is the logic between reducing the volume. When you send the track to the mastering, you need some headroom to make your job. First of all, I like to create some band, like 150 Hz, and this is only gonna affect the side signal. So which means there's stereo and mono information in a sound. I'm making all my basses completely mono. That means left and right speaker is giving the same frequencies. So it's mono, and if I play it some phone speaker or television speaker, the low end is going to be really decent. There will be no phasing issues, and most of the club systems got mono subsystem, so your track is gonna sound same in terms of low end in every place it's placed. That's why it's best to keep it mono below 150 Hz. In the other genres, it's I think totally okay to go experimental, and you can use even stereo sub. Even when I produced a pop track song for my client, I used totally stereo sub, but for EDM, for electronical music, for the dance music, this is really safe place to put your equalizer. And after that, your EQ is set. You can hear the frequencies that I dip if I solo this band. It's sometimes starting of the bars, there's some resonating frequency, Now we just get rid of that. After the EQ, I like to compress overall mix. This kind of SSL type compressors is like really helpful to glue your tracks. It can help you to glue your tracks. So I'm using like fastish attack, not that much fast, but not that sloppy. Attack determines when the compressor is gonna start working, doing its job. So we are saying that like in 1 or 3 milliseconds later, just start compressing the signal. Some of the transients, like the kick transients and percussions, will get through the compressor and the others will be reduced. So you will have really punchy, aggressive mix. That's why I like to keep the attack somewhere around here. And I just want to release it really fast. And that's all my settings. Now I'm gonna compress the signal with using threshold. If you realized, when I compress the signal, I'm losing so much volume. So I can think that, oh, it's no good. Like it was sound better before the compressing. To avoid this, you have to make up your gain. If you can see, we are compressing averagely 4 decibels. So I can just give it some 4 decibel makeup to keep the same volume balances when I activate or deactivate the compressor. Yes, now we are talking. We have a really pumpy, cool bass line going on. Like everything becomes more glued together when I activate the compressor. Maybe I can give it a bit fast release. Because this compressor has to be transparent at all. Because it's not our final compressor or limiter to use. And that's all with the glue. And let's go after that. I really like to use T-Rex. This is a multiband compressor, so actually I'm gonna make a dedicated video for how to use multiband compression in your tracks, on especially in master chain. But for now I'm gonna just use this one to boost my top end, to give a bit more crispiness to the sound. Let's see. I'm only working on these 2 little knobs on the default preset, and I'm just gonna boost them like not more than 2 decibels. And I forgot to tell you, it automatically comes in the default with plus 3 decibel input drive. So don't forget to make it 0, because I'm not gonna use this one to booster. I'm just gonna use this one as some kind of coloring equalizer kind of thing. So I told you I'm gonna only use with the high knobs, but in this case I just checked the span and I see like in my top after the T-Rex boost, it was decent. It was almost in the same volume with my kick and bass. So I'm comparing bass area and the highs area, but like my high mids and my mids was really lacking. That's why I wanted to boost the mid knob in here, maybe 1 decibel, to get a more balanced curve. This should your aim. You don't want to put some frequencies that are dipped, that are not filled. You need to cover almost full spectrum. Sounds good. Sometimes I don't even need the Tyrex because like sometimes if you fix that problems in the mixdown, you don't need to make up your master chain like this kind of plugins. But like this track doesn't mix at all. I was just still producing. That's why the EQ curves and the sound balances are not perfect. So if I release it like this, I need to go back to mixdown or put this kind of EQ kind of compressor to color my mixdown in the mastering chain. So you have to decide which one do you want to choose. This is the easiest way, and if your mixdown is decent, this is gonna just solve the problem in a couple minutes. But sometimes if your mixdown is not clean enough, this will only make the mistakes more hearable, more present. You know what I mean? That's why you have to be careful on this. And lastly, let's boost the track. I was using Ozone, but lately I go back to FabFilter Pro L2 because this is really easy to make. Just 2 or 3 parameters to change and you are set good to go. So I mostly choose the EDM punchy preset. It gives me tons of delay before the compressor hits. So with this kind of presets, your kick drum, your first initial impact, first hit on every beat always pass through the limiter, and then rest is becoming compressed, like limited. That's why you will hear really aggressive, punchy, big mix. This is what I like to hear on dance music. That's why most of the time I choose the preset. If I need, I just work on the attack and like find the sweet spot of it. So I have really cool trick to do with a starting point with this. I'm gonna press Alt and I'm gonna boost the gain. When I do that, just look at the right corner. When I make it +10, it becomes -10. So you don't hear any volume change. If you scroll this one with holding Alt, you will only hear the job of the limiter. So let's do it until we feel we cannot push it more. And yeah, you have to go to the loudest part of the mix.
It's all about you, baby. 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 It's all about you.
So when you satisfy with the dynamic range of the track, if you push it, you will kill the dynamics. So the lowest and the highest part of your track will be closer to each other. So it means your track doesn't dynamic at all. So find a sweet spot. It should sound dynamic, but at the same time, it should sound really loud. When you're satisfied, make sure to on the true peak limiting. It's gonna give you more accurate exports, and then just make the output 0. Or okay, let's don't make it 0. Let's make -0.1 or something like that. Every streaming platform asks for a different loudness, different headroom. For example, YouTube asking for -1 dB in the output, I think, but I don't care it because if you don't upload some sound to the YouTube or any other streaming platform, they will use some algorithm and just make it as loud as they want. I don't even care to make -1 dB headroom for the YouTube because when I upload this kind of renders, it sounds good too. So the algorithm does its job. Every streaming platform is gonna convert your track and fit to their platform. So I don't even care at all. But yeah, this is just my opinion about it. And after that, let's hear. It sounds really loud now.
It's all about you, baby. 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 It's all about you.
As you can see, we are going -7 loops value, and like if you think Spotify asking for -14, so we are way louder than this. But I wouldn't put -14 to the Spotify. I would go -8, -7 area, and then that's all. That's enough for me. And this is my mastering chain. It's really simple with just 4 plugins, but it's really making its job. My tracks are sound same in every streaming platform, and that is just okay for me. That's how should mastering work. So today that was it, guys. I hope you can apply this to your own productions too. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video. Bye bye.